Good morning everyone. This video is going to be about why I'm leaving the UK in 2024. It's going to be a bit of a negative video. I'm going to have a bit of a rant, so I'll try to temper that with coming out on a nice sunny fresh day here in London. I'm here in the shadow of the Battersea power station, recently redeveloped. It's a place that's had a lot of change recently, so I thought it'd be appropriate, with a lot of change going on in my life, to start the video here. So this is what Battersea power station looks like these days. Mainly a shopping centre with the odd wine bar and that kind of thing. So first things first, you see me all wrapped up. The climate. Winter in this country just goes on for too long. I wouldn't mind so much if it was a proper winter where you get snow and stuff, but it's just grey, dark, damp, miserable. And it seems to last forever, from the end of October pretty much until the end of March. You go to work in the dark, you come home in the dark. And then spring comes around and you think things are going to get better. And they do, you get some nice days in spring. And then summer comes around and you're like, hey! And then you're like, Last summer, 2023, was a crap summer, let's be honest. And I'm someone who likes 25, 30 degrees. I like 20 degrees at night. So for me, the climate is a big factor. The second one, cost of living. Everything is so damn expensive now. So I don't have the exact figures to hand for inflation, but all I know is it's too much. And that my quality of living has decreased significantly. Just been through 18 months of industrial action to get a pay increase which is way below the level of inflation. So where that hits hardest, personally for me, is the housing market. So I'm not on the housing ladder yet, and with the way interest rates are with mortgages now, it doesn't look like I ever will be. Rent is extortionate now, especially where I live on the south coast in Sussex. So what do? If I stay here, I'm consigned to a life of working my arse off to pay off somebody else's mortgage. One thing I won't miss is the crappy architecture. I mean, look at it. That's a joke, by the way. And it's not just housing. I used to like going out to restaurants, I used to like going to the pub, I used to like going to the cinema, I used to like going to football matches, but you can't go to any of those now without feeling like you're getting ripped off. £6 for a pint of beer, £5 for a bucket of popcorn, 20 quid to watch a League 2 football match, more like about 70 if you want to watch Premier League. I'm very lucky in that I work for the railway, so I don't have to worry about transport costs. A ticket from Brighton to London, first thing in the morning, is about 70 quid now. Bonkers. Even those little chocolate Freddos that used to be 10p up until 2005 are like 49p now. And as we're just across from the Houses of Parliament, I will touch on this subject because it is a factor, even though I don't like to talk about it on the channel because this is a form of escapism for me, really. So I'll keep it brief. Politicians are There you go, I told you I'll keep it brief. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more on politics, just this once. So what we have in this country is a two-party state, Conservative and Labour, sort of left-wing and right-wing, except at the moment they're both right-wing and they're both useless. I mean, number 10 Downing Street, which is just over there somewhere, that's the home of the Prime Minister. Might as well have a revolving door on it. So we've got a Prime Minister in charge now who nobody voted for, nobody seemed to like. Before that we had a completely incompetent Liz Truss who was booted out after a month or so. And before that we had Boris Johnson, who's also booted out for being a massive liar and a hypocrite. And now what you seem to have is a huge division in society. So you've got either left wing or right wing, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of middle ground. So on the extreme left you have people saying that there's all these different genders and sexualities, and if you don't keep up with them, if you don't understand them, you're ignorant. And on the extreme right you've got people saying they hope that the immigrants drown on their way over the English Channel. So the gender thing isn't something that really bothers me. I mean, live and let live, whatever makes you happy and all that. But when it starts to affect me in my daily life, then it becomes a problem. So for example, in my work, I make announcements. I say, hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you can't say ladies and gentlemen anymore. because it might offend somebody. Now, if you've become offended by that, that's your problem. I mean, ladies and gentlemen is a respectful term. Calling somebody a lady, calling somebody a gentleman is respectful, and it comes from a good place. If you've been offended by that, then tough shit. Then the right-wing thing, then, well, I don't need to talk about racism and stuff like that. I mean, anyone with a sensible head can see why that's wrong. Right, that's it, I promise. No more politics. Next thing on the list is something that actually used to make the UK great. The next thing is the NHS, the National Health Service. So here in the UK, we have to pay into the National Health Service, which supposedly looks after our health. If we ever need an ambulance, if we ever need medical treatment, it's there for us. And supposedly then you'd avoid a situation like they have in America, where you need medical treatment and you can't afford it, and your medical insurance doesn't cover your treatment, and you're left with crippling debt. Well, I'm extremely fortunate in that I'm a very healthy person. I've never needed an operation. I've barely even broke a bone in my life. So last summer, when I got extremely bad toothache, I rang up my NHS dentist. Could I get an appointment? And I had to ring up and get an emergency appointment with a private dentist, which costs £150. They put me on a course of antibiotics and I felt better, and they asked me, do you want an appointment to deal with the problem, which was I needed root canal surgery in one of my molars. I asked how much it would be. £800. It's like, I ring up my NHS dentist, thanks. NHS dentist didn't even call me back. I spoke to the receptionist, they said they'd have a look into it for me, but they don't have anything available for months, and they were going to ring me back. This is all about 6 months ago. I haven't had a call back from them. I just went ahead and got it done privately at a cost of 800 quid. Since then I've been told by a friend that they went over to Poland and got a hygienist to clean up their teeth, got root canal surgery, got a cap on their tooth, which I still don't have, and it cost them less than £400. A similar story with my dad, who had a blood condition. He couldn't get it sorted with the NHS, so he had to spend about 10 grand to get it sorted privately. And this one isn't tangible, it's just a general feeling of not being excited by anything anymore. So, like I was saying earlier, I don't go to any football matches, I don't really do that much. I haven't got much of a social life at the moment because of my age. I'm 42 years old, most of my friends are married with kids. All the sort of hiking adventures and stuff that I wanted to do, I've done them. I've done all the national trails in my area, the South Downs Way, the North Downs Way. I've hiked the whole coast from Tilbury all the way around to Weymouth. Just a disclaimer, by the way, I don't think the UK is all bad. I mean, I'm glad to be British, I'm proud to be British. It's a great place to grow up, and there's going to be a lot of things I miss about the place as well. So I always used to consider the UK to be somewhere where you can earn a fair wage, it's a good place to live and work. It just doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So it feels like there's no more adventure here for me. There's nothing for me to get excited about. Do you know what does make me feel excited? Travelling. So I booked my flight March 11th and I'm flying to San Francisco. I'll be in California for a month or two. Then after that, I'll be Latin America, heading down to Mexico, then making my way south. And the plan is to go all the way down to Argentina. So that's it, folks. That pretty much sums up the reasons why I'm leaving the UK. Now, I don't want anyone to think that I'm having a pity party here, that I feel sorry for myself. I know that I'm fortunate and privileged to grow up in a first world country, to always know that I can get work, that I have all my faculties just about, and I've got 2 arms and 2 legs and the freedom to do what I want. And freedom is the key word there. I really want to exercise that freedom, and that for me means going away, having adventures, travelling. Latin America is somewhere that's always fascinated me. It's the reason I learned Spanish, and it's the reason that I have this daft YouTube name. Well, that's the end of the walk and the end of the video. I'm just outside of London Bridge train station. There's the Shard there, the tallest building in Western Europe. Thanks for listening to me waffle for the last 15 minutes or so. Really appreciate it. I'll be here in the UK for another couple more months, and then I'll be off on my adventures. I hope you join me for those. Till then, take care. I'll see you soon.